Okay, hopefully. Okay. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, I'm in. Yay.
Yay. Now, you mentioned I can hear you. So, what do I need to do to go to? And I see Patty. I don't see where I can. Oh, wait, let me. Okay, hold on a sec. I'm not seeing. You can still
Or
hear me?
yes, or you can just have all of us mute ourselves. But as a host, you should have the option just to mute everybody.
Okay, but I'm not seeing that button. But
Try under Look under the little dots where it says more to see if it has anything.
okay, let me go up top. Okay. I just see down at the bottom I can mute myself, but of course I don't want to do that. See, it looks different actually. Let me go to share.
Look where it says Zoom at the top. Does it say Zoom at the top for you with a little arrow next to it?
Um, you can see me okay though, right?
Yep.
Okay. Um, no, see, it looks, oop. Can you see the other boxes or you just see what I see?
I see all the other boxes because I have it on gallery view.
Not sure why, but anyway, they popped in came by some
Is that you
and
see?
I'm here.
Okay. See, I thought, oh, I've done this once. It'll be easy. How about everybody go ahead and mute yourself? And while we wait, because it is 6 on the dot, while we wait, go ahead and look at your sheet from last week. And then go ahead and put in anything that you wrote that you were going to do. If I move it. And even if you weren't able to do it completely, but where you put I will, let's go ahead and start putting in, maybe there was something that you started doing last week, and I'll go ahead and, okay, okay. Although I just lost, oh dear. Can you guys see me? Hmm. Mhm.
Maggie, the chat saying it's disabled.
Okay, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And I can see, let's see. You are sharing your screen. All right. Let me go to more chat. Okay, do you see that? Do you see the chat now? Danielle?
No, it's still disabled.
Okay. Everyone. All right. Hopefully that will allow the chat to be open. Do you see it yet?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, but you don't see me.
Yes. We can see you too.
Oh, okay, good. And do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I think we are ready to go. So yes, go ahead and put in the chat if you were able to start doing something for self-care, and then how often, even if you only did it once, what was one thing that maybe you took away last week? We talked about if possible, doing a combination of things. And let's see. Okay. All right. Anybody have anything that they did last week, or what's your intention? All right. So Danielle decided to exercise and move more. Okay, so what are some practical things? What are you thinking of with exercise? Go ahead and put that in. Patty says do better at at your time schedule, to feel better at myself. Okay. Oh, and working on the Historical Society work. Do you have designated time for doing that work for the Historical Society? So let me know that. And okay, working outside, Danielle, good job. Oh, so you have a little, is it a mini trampoline or a big one? Gardening, went for walks at different parks. Okay, good. All right. So those are all good examples of things. I know we just sort of inherited a elliptical machine. And so we're starting slow so that we don't, plus it's hard, but we are each day doing a little bit more, and then writing it down. It really helps to write it down. So, all right, so you guys can see my first screen, right? Okay. All right. See if anybody put, okay. Okay, so Danielle's trampolining. Okay, so Patty's wanting to do, I like to do some before bedtime. Good job. Okay, and I would think you said right after, trying to walk right after therapy, that's probably a good time to work out any kinks or anything. That's good. All right, good job. All right, so let's look at our first screen. And so we're talking about food, what matters. And so go ahead and take out your worksheet. And let's see, again, make sure, okay, Patty has an elliptical. Oh, at therapy, good job. All right. Put in the comment how many minutes they have you do. We're only at about 7. We're just starting, but it's a lot harder than I thought. So let me know how many minutes. Maybe that'll challenge me to do more. All right, so as far as on our blueprint, we are talking about the typical American diet. And more than likely, you've heard about the SAD diet. And a lot of it is made up of processed foods and a lot of protein. You know, we go back and forth. One minute we hear that we don't need all that protein. Other times we think we do. Typically when we hear protein, we tend to think of meat, but you can get protein in a lot of different ways. So, all right, so Patty, you said you are doing 5 minutes. Good, that's where we started, for 5 minutes. And again, it's better to start slow and be consistent than to do too much, get sore, because that's definitely not the way to go. So good job. All right, so one of the things is so much of the meat that we're eating, you know, has a lot of chemicals and has a lot of things. And so we really need to be concerned about that. And so everybody's diet is going to be different. And so we want to make sure that we're eating lots of good, healthy plants, because that's where we get the most nutrients, with plants. Okay, so fruits and vegetables, grains, beans, seeds, those types of things. So I want to talk about what you're eating. I was talking to a friend who is in the group, and she made the comment that going through this exercise, she realized there was so many things that she was not eating. And so this is a way, because it's easy to say, well, I eat pretty healthy. But the fact is, if we're not careful, we won't realize that we are missing so many things. So let me know how much, and when you put in your answer, for example, how many portions of meat, just write the word meat, and then, for example, 1 or 0 or 5 or whatever. And then just so I can get an idea of what people, oops, sorry about that, people are eating in the way. Okay, Danielle is our resident vegan, and I'm sort of there, but not completely. So you are not a meat eater. What are your meat substitutes? That would be interesting to know. Okay, Patty says daily. So Patty, like once a day, do you eat meat at all of your meals? Okay, then somebody else said 4 times. Okay, so we have a variety of 0 to 4 servings. Okay, and then Danielle, you mentioned on fruits and vegetables. So go ahead and add. Okay. Okay, so Patty says she doesn't eat meat every day. All right. Okay, so this is interesting. Danielle is saying she eats as a substitute. She does mushrooms, beans, meat substitutes, but not too often. Okay, so tell us why you don't do the meat substitutes, because I sort of have my opinion, but I'd be curious to know about yours. So, double checking to make sure there's not someone trying to get in the group. That should be here. Okay. One of the things, I don't do mushrooms, but I do like to do beans. And as a matter of fact, just last night even, I fixed a nice big pot. Don't typically think of beans and rice in the summer, but really, I find myself thinking I like them all the time. And so anyway, I do tend to cook them year round. And again, lots and lots of different vegetables. Okay, meat substitutes are sometimes very processed. And that is one of the things that I have found. There are a lot that in many cases taste like meat, but they are often very, very processed. So again, that's something, and again, there's so many. There's Beyond Burger. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. And that really does, if you've never tried those, they really do, I think, taste like a burger. But again, it's just something to maybe have occasionally for a treat, to feel like you're eating a real hamburger, but they definitely are processed. Okay. All right. So good. Lettuce, peppers, onions, and a salad. So again, lots of good things in a salad. That's the thing I like about salads too, that you can make such a variety and you're not locked in. For example, the picture there shows more of a green salad, but there's so many different kinds. And so you could do all different kinds. For example, you could do a different type of slaw. A lot of times, I don't seem to remember to do them at home, but I've had them out. But maybe even just the purple cabbage shredded and different things on there. Carrots, it's really colorful. Okay, homemade beef stew. Good job. All right, so we've got some vegetables. What about fruit? Any big fruit eaters? Okay, so Patty made slaw. How do you make your slaw, Patty? Because again, that's something I didn't grow up eating slaw. So occasionally, like I said, I'll have it out, but I tend to like it more homemade than sometimes when you go and it's just more, you can tell the prepared traditional slaw. But I've had some really good ones, but I've never really made an attempt. So that's, again, that's another area. Cabbage, green pepper, onion, carrots, and then salad dressing. All right, good job. Good job. All right. So what about, okay, as far as fruit, Apples, pears, berries. I love the berries. Those are always good, no matter, it seems like year round, berries are good ones. Most of the time, berries aren't overly sweet. So they tend to really come up as like a number one choice. So I do like to go with berries. Okay, sauerkraut, good. Now sauerkraut is something, and this is, I know this is homemade. Um, a lot of times I like just a dab of it just mixed in with my salad. And sauerkraut is one that a lot of people are not familiar with, unless maybe you grew up with it. A lot of people of German descent and northern part of Europe like sauerkraut, Polish, but it's super healthy for your gut. So if you've never tried it, that's something that it does take a little bit of time to make it, but definitely is very, very good for you. Again, that's something to start just very small as far as portions. Okay. Oh yes, peaches. I love peaches. Now, how many of you are familiar with the Dirty Dozen? Or maybe I should ask it this way. Is anybody not familiar with the Dirty Dozen? Because we definitely want to um, make sure that we're getting those things as much as possible. Sort of gives you an idea of when to buy organic and when you can buy just traditional. Okay, so the Dirty Dozen, they are 12 fruits and vegetables. They are considered the dirtiest because they are typically the ones that are sprayed with pesticides. So apples is usually on that list. Peaches is usually, strawberries, a lot of things with thin skin. Raspberries, blueberries, spinach, a lot of your leafy vegetables are. But there are ways around it. On the other hand, they have what's called a clean 15. And the clean 15 are the 15 fruits and vegetables that are the cleanest. So those are typically ones you don't really need to worry about buying organic. So that would be like avocados, bananas. I should have pulled that up. I'm trying to think what else. Interestingly enough, cabbage is on that list, which I always thought was interesting. I'm trying to think. Pineapple. Again, anything with a thicker skin is usually going to be on the clean 15. So if you had to put your money somewhere, again, you want to go, especially with the thin skin. Now, one of the things that I have heard is, for example, apples. They have a nice harder skin, and they're always on the Dirty Dozen. However, apples and even grapes, which are on the Dirty Dozen, because again, they're sprayed. A lot of times people will make a solution of white vinegar and water and then just sort of let them soak a little bit. So that is a consideration in order to get that coating, because again, apples often have that waxy coating. So the vinegar sort of helps take that off. Okay, rhubarb, I'm not sure if I did notice rhubarb up at Open Range. I was there yesterday. Okay, asparagus is delicious. Now, interestingly enough, I don't think asparagus is on the Dirty Dozen. So I'll try to see if I can find that list and send it out to you guys. But again, it really makes it helpful to know the things. One thing to keep in mind is when a lot of times, especially if you're buying from like a farmer's market or straight from the farmer, a lot of times they can't technically call themselves, thank you, Danielle, they can't technically call themselves organic, because to be an organic gardener, you have to go through all kind of certification. You've got to jump through a lot of hoops, and it's quite expensive, and it's over a period of years. So a lot of times when I go to a farmer's market, you will see where the farmer or the person selling, maybe it's just even a home gardener, they will say that it's not organic, but that they don't use any kind of pesticides. So those are great. All right, so Danielle is saying strawberries, definitely spinach, kale, nectarines, apples, grapes, peaches, cherries, pears, tomatoes, celery, and potatoes. All right. Now, sweet potatoes usually are not on the Dirty Dozen. But again, it can change from year to year. All right. Yes, corn. And interestingly enough, corn is not. Usually corn is fine, sweet corn. So, however, when I buy corn, I bought some frozen. Well, I was going to buy some frozen yesterday at Aldi's, but they were out. But I do like to buy frozen corn that is organic. Okay. All right, good. Freezing is great. Freezing is a great, great option. So definitely keep that in mind. Celery is also on the Dirty Dozen. But again, I've seen different things talking about just taking water, again, with the vinegar. Some people will even squeeze lemon juice or some lemon essential oil, put it in a bucket or a pot or your sink, a clean sink, and then put your fruit and your vegetables. Now, again, things like strawberry might be a little harder, but again, something like that I might put in a colander, the strawberries or any kind of berries, and maybe just dip them in and swish it around. Okay, thank you, Danielle. She's got the Clean 15. And again, these are things that if you are watching your budget, you do not have to worry about because they tend to be sprayed less. All right, good job. Thank you. All right, so an asparagus is on the Clean 15. So we're good to go. So again, this is good information, you know, something that you may even want to, I know I have a little list that I keep in my wallet so that when I'm at the store, I can remember. So again, this is good to know a way to save your dollars, your shopping dollars for those things that really do need to be organic. One way often you can tell if you're not sure, generally what I have found is there is usually not a noticeable difference when you talk about the Clean 15, organic versus non-organic. And so they're pretty much very similar. Whereas strawberries, if you buy organic versus non-organic, they can be easily $1 or more difference. But again, I suggest you buy them in season and that, again, buy them on sale. That's the other thing. That's one of the nice things. When you buy in season, you're getting much more nutrients because they're fresher than when you buy things out of season because they're having to travel from somewhere. So a lot of people really promote seasonal eating. Eating locally and eating seasonally can even trump it being organic. Because if it's organic, but it's coming from Chile or China or wherever, then, or even say Florida or California, you might be better off buying it from a local gardener or farmer where it isn't necessarily organic, but it's local and it's in season. So again, just things to keep in mind. So, all right, good to go. Let's go to the next slide. And food can definitely be a curse or it can be our medicine. And so really on the left, is there any of that produce you don't like? Maybe, or maybe it's something that you've not made because you're not even sure how to fix it. So any of you stumped or are most of you eating these things? I pretty much like everything in the picture. I really like beets. I've been juicing beets, and beets are actually quite sweet. And sometimes what I'll do with beets is take them and scrub them really good and actually go ahead, leave it whole, leave the peel on, and then take a sheet of either parchment paper or aluminum foil, put 1, 2, or 3 beets, and then drizzle just a little bit of coconut oil and almost make like a little tent, fold the foil over, put it in the oven, and the beets come out wonderful. They're sweet, they're delicious. And again, you can eat the peel if you want, it's not gonna hurt you. And again, beets, okay, beets, it looks like, Danielle, you're showing those as Clean 15. Those are one that I typically buy organic just because they're in the ground, but that's good to know. that they're saying they're part of the Clean 15. Patty says she's not crazy about beets. A lot of people say that. And I've heard this. A lot of people say beets are just too earthy. Try peeling them and then doing the same thing. Peel them first and then put them on parchment paper or aluminum foil, drizzle a little oil, fold it over and bake them and give that a try. And I'd like to know if you find them sweeter, but I love them. And I do like juicing them with the green apple, a little bit of carrot. It's delicious. Okay. And I think most people, I think broccoli, cauliflower probably would be pretty high on everyone's list. Okay, so it looks like VU steam. So did you steam broccoli and cauliflower? I'm assuming that. Because I don't know about steaming beets, and I have actually fermented beets before. So you can do a lot with beets. The other thing is you can peel a raw beet and then take like a grater, like a cheese grater. And I have grated the beets onto just a regular green salad, and it's really good too. Beets tend to, they're going to stain your fingers. And so sometimes if they get, for example, if you have cauliflower, they're going to make the cauliflower pink, but it doesn't really matter. One thing to keep in mind, when you eat beets, there's a good chance when you go to the bathroom, it's going to be red. So just be aware that that's part of eating beets. Okay, so, beets in a steamer. I've not done that. So that's good to know. That's a good way to try. Again, I'm reading, we all love like roasted vegetables, but to really get the most nutrients, the vegetables, raw is by far the most nutrient dense because you're eating it in its natural form. Then steaming and then lightly stir frying is next. And really roasting, although I love roasted vegetables, you lose more that way. They're still good for you, but again, just something to keep in mind. So try to mix it up. For a while I was on this roast. But again, you can get a lot more nutrients other ways. So like I said, just try mixing it up. Okay, roasted vegetables and definitely raw. Raw is good. You get all of the enzymes in raw. I just finished a book this weekend called The Hallelujah Diet, and it is all about eating vegan and 85% of your diet raw. And they really recommend that, particularly if you're trying to heal your body from something. And I've known people who've done it. A lot of people will go through that protocol when they are coming off of some kind of disease or suddenly been diagnosed with cancer or diabetes or something. But when I was reading the book, they also mentioned that a lot of people have seen skin issues clear up. Things like fibromyalgia, joint pain, backache, foggy brain. So it might be the kind of thing that maybe you do a week or even a few days where you go more on the raw and all fruits and vegetables, and you can do grains and then maybe do 15% cooked. So just a thought. But if that's something, if you think, you know what, I've got all these different issues, because again, they talked about so many things that generally we tend to think of, well, that's just the way it's going to be. Just look up Hallelujah Diet or just look up raw vegan diet. And a lot of people, they said in as much as little as sometimes a week to 21 days, people have seen major reversals in a lot of issues. So it's just something to think about. Okay, and then on the right, looks like we see some hopefully homemade granola, kiwi, and the little, I think, currants, I'm not quite sure. And then it looks like maybe some type of, I don't know if it's like a creamy yogurt or something. But again, food is meant to be nourishing and it can be medicine. All right, and then this is more of what our typical SAD diet often looks like. So let's assume this was in a restaurant. Can you tell me some ways that you can basically have the same thing but make it healthy? What would be an option? Because this is probably considered the typical American diet. Okay. Probably if you polled people and said, what do you think of like for summer or, cookout or whatever? What do you typically think of? These things would probably come up. So can you think of a way to make some healthy options so that you still get that sense of biting into a burger, eating some fries? Okay. All right, so substitute lettuce, okay, or sweet potato for the bun. I have never done that. I have, several years ago, Jerome and I did the Atkins diet and you couldn't do bread. And so usually if we did eat out, we would just say hold the bun and a lot of times do something more with lettuce. So that's a really good idea. And I've seen people do a sweet potato. I've never done that before. Love sweet potato fries. And actually I make homemade fries at home. And again, I have a, I forget what you call it, chopper, and it actually will make the fries. And then I usually put it in a bath of ice water to get some of the starch out, and then towel dry it really good. Get the oven like 400, 425, drizzle a little bit of like, again, coconut oil, some nice coarse sea salt, and put it in the oven, and it makes wonderful fries, home fries, oven fries. So, okay, good. Any ideas on the meat for meat lovers? How can you make that healthy? Okay, lettuce again for the bun. What could you do? Any ideas? Now see, this would be, for example, my son, Jonathan, and his family, they are all vegans, although two of his boys do like meat, but they will occasionally buy the Beyond Burgers, or what's the other one? Something Impossible Meat. And so they will sometimes do that. Maybe it's a homemade turkey burger. I've bought ground lamb before, and they say it's healthier than beef. And I bought that and made a burger before. It's been a while, but I have done that. So yeah, turkey burger, butter lettuce. So again, so often I think we tend to think it's either going to be healthy or it's horrible. And often people equate healthy with boring and that they're going to miss out. So here we're talking about how we could still have a meal that would look good without. So yes, you can skip the bun. And then it's hard to tell. I'm not sure if that's like a relish on top. A lot of times people will put bacon. You could either do turkey bacon or just skip the bacon. Cheese is often in the list of, definitely that looks like processed, the little sheets, and that's probably the worst. So we don't do a lot of cheese. If we do, we usually will buy white cheddar, because if you think about it, and I think we've all just grown up seeing cheese being a yellow orange, but when you think of it, it comes from milk, and cows don't have milk that color. So again, very, very processed. So something that we should avoid. All right. So now later I thought I could have found a better picture, but again, I was just trying to show you can take smaller portions of meat. So I'm not really sure. And again, when I picked the picture, it was much smaller. But again, it's hard to tell if it's like bacon wrap on top. And I'm not sure. I'm assuming that might be pork in the picture. But doing something like that where you're eating smaller portions. And so meat, we talk more about like the clean 15 or the dirty dozen, clean 15, but really you get the most chemicals from meat. And so you think about the amount of meat versus vegetables. So really a lot of people recommend that this is where you spend your dollars. And when it comes to really getting organic, grass-fed, making sure you're getting clean meat, because you figure, I forget how long it takes to get a chicken from, just that little chick to when it's going to market. Not a lot of time. And so there's a lot of hormones and chemicals. And again, we don't want those in our body. So again, many suggest limiting the amount of meat, maybe just having a few times a week, or maybe less. Or the summer is a great time, even though we typically think of barbecues and cookouts and, you know, cooking a flat of ribs and all these different things. Really, the summertime is a great time to have less meat and really do more with fruits and vegetables. Meatless Mondays. Yes, a lot of people do that. I've made sort of like meatless meatloaf. You know, again, black beans and, you know, some quinoa and some different things. And again, they're not going to be identical to meat. So again, these are just some other options. But again, we really want to, you know, to make sure that the meat is clean. And then it's hard to tell from the picture, but maybe some roasted red potatoes. We see some green onions, and then looks like just some lettuce, cucumber, and maybe some baby carrots or something. And exactly, meat should be the condiment. We've gone from, you know, where meat was just very small. A lot of families grew up, especially big families, grew up where they only ate meat on Sunday or special occasions. And even then it was like one little piece. But we've, over the years, and I think prosperity and people working and two-family income, we've gone to where often you'll see a big chicken breast, or you'll see a big portion of meat, and then just a tiny little bit of vegetables. And we really need to reverse that. So considering all of those things, part of our sheet is the idea of what are we going to do moving forward. So I wanted you to think about what are some options. I had you list your favorite vegetables because I was talking to a friend and she said just seeing that made her, as she started writing out, it made her think, why don't I fix these? Because she really wasn't. She listed a bunch, but yet when it came to cooking, she very rarely fixed a lot of those things. So the point of this was to get you thinking. If you're putting sweet potatoes down and other vegetables, but yet you hardly ever make them, then this is a reminder to make them part of your weekly menu. So, and then I asked, how can you get more servings of fruits and vegetables into your diet? So what are some of the ways that you feel that you can do that as we sort of wrap this up? What are ways to get more? I don't think we need to talk about how do we get more meat into our diet because most people probably eat more than they should. But what are some ways to get more fruits and vegetables, grains, seeds, nuts? Can you think of some ways to get them into the diet? Okay, yes, smoothies are definitely one. And okay, can you guys still see me? Okay, because my screen has changed. All right, let's see, salads, definitely. Salads are a biggie, okay? Lots of veggies, great. We wanna eat those. Okay, the crunch of chips, okay? Good. One of the things in the My Healthy Living Made Easy today, I posted just about having something on the counter. You know, most of the time we come home from the store and we put everything away. And most of your, especially fruit, does better. Well, and vegetables do better in the refrigerator. But in my little short video clip, I just washed just enough for today of some grapes that I bought here in town. I washed them, put them on the counter. They're just about gone because there they are. You know, we need to make things as simple as possible. If we make it hard, then we're not going to do it. But if we take, for example, I used to leave my apples out on the counter, and invariably one or two you'd go to, you know, turn it over, and maybe that one little spot has started to spread. But again, how about if you just put 2 apples on the counter, and then went ahead and refrigerated the rest. Or oranges, same thing, or grapefruits. So get into the habit of trying to have some of those things out. So those are the things that you grab instead of going and reaching for something else. So that's another thing. So any other things that you can think of or ways? And then also on your blueprint, think of what can you do in the coming weeks to eat more. Be thinking, because that needs to be a regular thing. Because the more you do it, right now it has to be intentional, but as we repeat it, then it becomes a habit. And that's what we want. We want these things. It'll be second nature to just grab those, those grapes that are on the counter as you walk by. Same with water, keeping water handy. So again, it's simply habit. And the more we do it, then the better off that we will be. One thing, and not everybody has a juicer, I'm blessed there, but I've started juicing again. And as a matter of fact, I was going to drink it while I was doing this, but it's hard to drink and talk. But this is carrot juice. And I actually made it this morning, and I made more than enough. And I put half of a green apple in it. And yesterday I did it, and I sent it with Jerome, but without the apple. And he drank it, but he was a little bit like, okay. But today I put a little bit of apple in there, and he actually really liked it and actually shared it with a coworker, and they liked it. And they don't usually like healthy things. So juicing is a wonderful option. And there's a lot of juicers on the market, and they can go from really cheap and inexpensive to outrageous. But a juicer is a great way to really ramp up things and to get a lot of nutrients into your body. So I hope that this has been helpful. And again, fill out your sheet, and just make sure that you are just making sure I don't have any messages. Just make sure that you're getting plenty of fruits and vegetables. Right now, I'm just trying to give you a sense of, okay, these are the things we want to be eating, because food does matter. It affects our mood. It affects how we feel. It definitely affects healing. And, just really everything. Affects how we look, our skin, how we age, whether, slowing aging or actually causing us to age faster. So food is so key and so very important. So what we want to do is make sure we're eating the best foods that can be good for us and not work against us. So anyway, if we don't have any more questions, I don't see any more comments. And let me go back. Let me go up here and just checking. Okay. All right. So next week we're going to be talking about moving. We don't like that E word, exercise, but again, be thinking. And some of you are already doing more of that. Take advantage of the beautiful weather. And early is best if you can, but the fact is, do it whenever. But for outdoors, trying to be out, getting that sunlight, it helps with sleep. We'll talk about sleep on our last week. And so anyway, it is a pleasure being in the group with you, and hopefully you are making some progress. You're writing down these goals. You are committing yourself to these things. And, I want to hear comments along the way. So thank you for joining. And again, if you have questions throughout the week, don't hesitate to send me a message. You can text me or private message me, because I want to be here to help. So have a great evening. And until next week, take care, and I'll see you then.